Hey guys, what's going on? Time for another YouTube video. This one is about something that I'm preparing for a trip to Panama. I just got back from working at Tropic Star Lodge, I guess about 3 weeks ago or so. And we got into something because the bait was small, into micro jigging, and I wanted to adapt and get some stuff prepared for my next trip down, which I've got a group going down in April. So I want to show you how I'm tying my own single assist hooks for these micro jigs. And by micro jigs, we're talking pretty micro. 1/2 ounce and 3/4 ounce jigs that we're throwing down there. And I'm just using stuff that I have used for smallmouth and walleye fishing here in the north. But one thing I will tell you is you have to change out all the terminals. So these split rings will not last 5 seconds with the way the fish pull down in the saltwater. So having a good set of, stainless steel, I got black VMC stainless steel split rings that I'm going to be changing all these out for and doing all the stuff properly. So I'm going to show you what I have and how I'm tying my own single assist hooks for these little tiny jigs. So this is my terminal box here. Here I basically keep all the stuff I need, from solid stainless steel rings all the way up to 400+ pound split rings to, small 4X O'Shaughnessy VMC treble hooks to bigger single assists that I've tied and my spoons. But what I'm going to use out of this to tie basically this is a very fine small hook. This is a size 1 VMC live bait tournament hook done on 150 pound Kevlar braid to use with those small micro jigs. So this is what we've got. Heat shrink tubing. Okay, this is 150 pound Kevlar, braided Kevlar, because down there you got a lot of Sierra mackerel, a lot of fish with teeth. Having the braid, the Kevlar being braided, really will help from getting cut off on these single assist hooks. So this is just a 200-foot spool. I got this on Amazon, pretty cheap, pretty easy to find. Solid stainless rings. So when you are doing any of this stuff, you should be attaching your single assist hooks. You should be tying them to a solid stainless ring, and then that solid stainless ring is attached to your spoon via one of those stainless split rings. And then your hooks, and you need a lighter for the shrink wrap. So let's just make one, and I'll show you how I do it. First things first, take your braided Kevlar. I take about between 8 and 10 inches, and you're gonna need a good set of scissors for this. And first step is to take one of your hooks. So when you're tying your hooks, you're gonna snell them on. You wanna go in from the hook point side, just like this, create a loop. The reason I do this type of snell is because I find I waste less line. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, get this line out of the way, 4. And then you take that, and you've got this loop on the back. You just take your tag end, push it through the loop. And what I do is I hold it on the hook, and you just slide the other line upward. And that's gonna tie your snell for you. Okay, so you got your snell tied right there. That is your first snelled hook. And what I like to do is trim off. I leave a little bit because I leave that little tag in there. And then I take some of my the heat shrink tubing, and I want to cut little pieces that are probably 3/4 of an inch or so based on the size of the hook. You slide that on your line. Okay, and then you just got to fit that over the eye. So if you're having a hard time, I'm using a very small surgical tubing because I want it to be tight. Slide your knot, your little snell knot will slide down. I get it right to the end of the eye, and that's sitting nice and tight up against it. Take your lighter, quick heat on all sides. Okay, and that's your first one right there. So that has your snell locked in under the surgical tubing, under the heat shrink tubing. And that's one side. So you're gonna do the exact same process for the other side. The one thing you have to remember is put your heat shrink tubing on before you put your hook on, because you won't be able to get it on after. So the process becomes heat shrink tubing, your other hook, you're gonna go in the exact same way. So from the hook side. And I tend to bring this, because these jigs are only 2.5 inches long, I bring it basically right about 2 inches away to tie that snell, and I leave a little loop, and that allows me to lengthen it further. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you can go 5 times. Take your tag end through the loop at the back, and then basically just pull. So there you go, there's your other snell. Once you have your snell snug, trim off, leave about a 1/4 inch of that tag end right there. So there's your tag end, and then you take your heat shrink tubing, and I said to you, you could slide it down. In order to get the heat shrink tubing over, I can slide this knot, the snell knot, because it slides down, get my heat shrink tubing in position to where I want it. There it goes. Now it's up. Making a mess out of the second one. Slide your heat shrink tubing down. Make sure your line is nice and tight, and then you can hit it with the lighter. The other good thing about braided Kevlar is it really doesn't burn like if you were using regular braid. So there's your second one. So now you've got this. So you've got your 2 hooks. They're facing the other way from each other. One thing you want to make sure is that when you grab them, that they face inwards towards each other. Okay, you want your 2 hook points inward. And what I do is I grab it like that, I pinch my line, and then I take my stainless solid ring, and you're gonna slip it. I'm gonna do this as slow as I can so you can see it. I'm using very small rings too, because my split rings are gonna be small. I don't wanna have an oversized ring. Okay, so my hook points are facing each other. My ring is on. And what you want to do is basically go over the back of the ring, just like this. Take that extra line, twist it 90 degrees, and then go back over and grab your ring. And what that's going to do is double down. You can see here the knot is actually doubled down so that if one side of the hook were to come off, it's not going to slip both sides out. So there's your, pull it tight. There is your doubled over little micro jig double assist hooks. So when you add this with the proper split ring, you have something that looks like that. Okay, they're not oversized because a standard traditional single assist hook, I'll show you the difference in size, is significantly bigger. So the hook would be bigger and the line, the lead would be bigger than the actual spoon. So I'm making my own just so that I can have them fit perfectly. The other side of things are when I make them for my bigger jigs, so like 120, 130, 180, 200 gram jigs, you can see I'm using a 5/0 hook rather than a size 1 or a size 1/0. And my ring is bigger, everything is bigger. So by matching the size of your bait to the size of your single assist hooks, you're going to improve your hookup percentage. But the nice thing is you can do them yourself. They're not that difficult to do. I could do probably 20 or 30 of them in an hour. And it's just a great way to have everything perfect. I've got the good hooks. These are 4X hooks. They're super strong. They resist rust really well. And the braided line helps with the teeth of the fish. So there you have it, guys. If you could do me a favor, click subscribe down below if you haven't already. If you haven't, click get notifications as well. That just makes sure that our videos get into your feed. Been doing lots of tip videos based on our show, Breaking Boundaries, that has released on Waypoint TV again this year, season 10 already. But if you can click subscribe, click get notifications. If you have any questions or comments about tying your own single assists or micro jigging or the setup I'm using, feel free to leave a comment down below. We'll get to you as soon as we can. So hope everybody's staying safe. I hope you guys are all having fun. Most importantly, I hope everybody's catching fish. Talk to you soon.